Welcome back to day 2, guys. We're going to warm up now. Hands on the side of the hips. We're going to lift the left leg up, balancing on the right, articulating our joints. Just rolling the ankles into a clockwise and anti-clockwise manner. And just really going through the full range of motion, feeling it in the ankle. Now we're going to bend the knees and stir the pot, keeping it nice and loose. Imagine you're stepping your left foot into a pool of water and you're just trying to stir it. Again, changing directions after about 6 or 7 rounds. Now we're going to externally rotate the hip, drawing big circles with our left knee. Finding our balance here, making sure our body stays facing forward all times. Now turning inward, drawing big circles. We're going to get through this quite quickly because it's a warm-up. And changing legs now. Okay, so if you need to find better balance and you're finding this really difficult, you can always use a wall or something to hold on to. But we're going to move on now, articulating our right ankle. Just going through the range of motions, preparing it for all the movement that I'll be doing later on. Bending the the right knee, and stirring the pot. Again, keeping the knee nice and soft, going through a stirring motion, and keeping the hips stable and the shoulders stable as well. Next, we're going to draw big circles with our knee, externally rotating it first. And don't be surprised if you start feeling the left ankle getting a bit tired, because you are balancing on one foot and drawing it inward now, using the right knee, making big circles. And bringing down. Now bring your feet together, and we're going to do a slight squat and just roll the knees in a full circular motion. Now start very easy with this. I might be doing somewhat of a bigger circle, but when you start off, try making small circles first, and then again, same thing, about 6 to 8 reps, 8 to 10 reps, change direction. The thing you want to maintain is to try and keep the feet grounded at all times, and this will also force the knees and ankles to work in tandem. Alright, bring your feet out about shoulder width apart, and this is a pretty simple one where most people are quite comfortable doing this, but probably don't do it enough, which is rolling the hips in a circular manner. Going one direction, again trying to focus on really articulating the movement itself, going into big circles. And this is a really good one to see if you can keep your ankles and your shoulders as stable as possible and really using just the hips to go through that motion. Yeah. Alright, now hands crossed on the shoulder. We're going to do these circular motions. Now imagine you're kind of like drawing a circle with your shoulders. So you're going to come into this slight forward bend and then slight tilting back on the way up. But it's still in a circular motion. Work with the breath. Again, inhale when you lift up, exhale when you fall down. Not trying to move too much in other areas, mainly just the shoulders. You feel your trunk really sort of like having to articulate. And now we're going to change directions, going through this motion. Again, inhale to lift, exhale coming down, inhale to lift, exhale coming down. Really focusing on lifting the chest and letting it collapsing inward as you come down. Inhale to lift, exhale to allow it to collapse. Once you do a few of these, you'll probably get the hang of it. If it's your first time, it might feel a bit awkward. Alright, now we're going to roll the wrists, again in a circular motion. Extending the arms out this time, changing directions. And now we're going to start with the left elbow and just doing like this, almost like you're trying to snap your finger and moving it in a rotational kind of direction. Inward and then outward. So we're going to change arms. Not doing too many reps here. Just getting your joints all warmed up. Into the right arm. And now we're gonna lift our arms up straight up as we inhale, and then turn our palms out and reach back and down. Reversing the movement, inhale, bring our palms back forward, and exhale down. Again, inhale, lift, exhale, back down. So again, trying to draw big, round, circular motions. And if your shoulders are pretty tight, going back like mine is gonna be a bit tricky. But still try and do it, because again, you're working on the joint itself, especially the shoulder girdle. So take it nice and slow. I'm actually rushing a little bit here, but that's okay. Inhale to lift, exhale to bring it back down. Okay, now we're going to move on to neck rolls. This will feel really good for those of you who sit in front of the computer a lot. Really trying, again, I can't emphasize enough, which is articulating the circular motion with all the joints. You want to get into each and every range or depth of range that's available to you. So you really want to articulate it. Just nice, gentle rolls on the neck. You can close your eyes if you want to. You can feel a lot more if you close your eyes too. Alright, now that we're done, we're going to find a wall, and we're going to do these standing rotations in the bridge. So you need a 1 arm length distance away from the wall. And first, we're going to plant our feet and extend that right arm towards the back, facing forward. Now the left arm, notice it's going to swerve around, come through, and then plant on the wall and coming back out. Okay, so what you want to really pay attention, we're going to do the other side now, is bend the knees and load on the front of the hips and thighs as you reach back and plant that hand, and then coming off the other side. So we're going to do about 10 of these, okay? So changing directions with each rep. Again, exhale to plant, inhale, come back out. So inhale to plant, exhale to reach back. So one arm goes, as the first arm reaches towards the back, the second arm will follow the same direction. And then you're going to pivot that palm that's already on the wall, so that it allows you to actually get into that bridge position more comfortably before coming out. So you want to find that you have some sort of stability on the wall with your palms, and making sure that you feel the front of the body is really stretched out, and keep opening up the chest and lifting up the sternum, which is the breastbone. Now you find you have some compression in the lower back, then ease off, and you probably want to reassess how much of the loading you're doing you're putting onto your front thighs and your hips. So you need to bend the knees slightly and push the thighs and the hips forward to allow you to create that tension on the front as you reach back. Just a few more here. These are not easy, so work slowly. Remember, work mindfully as well. Coming off, right hand plant, swerve the left arm over, and coming out. Alright, those were good. Now we're coming back onto the mat because we want to de-stress the lower back. There might be some tension built up, so we're going to come into a forward bend, hugging opposite sides of the elbow. Notice how I'm bending my knees here, because I want to stack my belly on top of my thighs. So bend as much as you need to, and then we're going to start just rocking side to side, very gentle. The side-to-side rocking is coming from the extension of the side body. Notice my hips are not turning, it's only my upper body, leading with the elbows. Just a very gentle, nice rock, back and forth, side to side. And now we're going to stay onto the left side, plant our fingers. Now watch, the right leg's going to come behind and over to the left side and step over. This is an initiation of a dragon squat, and I just want you to feel that real intense stretch coming on the entire right side of the body. Now we're going to switch sides, coming onto the left. Again, planting the fingers first, and then reach around and back with the left foot and kind of step behind. You should feel a really nice stretch all the way from the side body of the left side. Coming back to the center. Slowly roll up to standing. Okay, now we're going to move on Coming onto the mat, onto our knees, we're going to work on some more back bends. So today we're going to focus a lot on opening up the chest and the front body. This will allow us to get into bridge position later on a lot easier. So loading on the front of the hips and dropping the shoulders back and down and coming back off. We're going to do 5 of these, okay? Inhale, lift the chest up high, and exhale, dropping back. Again, don't forget to load the hips forward and the thighs. Okay, you should feel stretched all the way to the front, but not so much so feeling the compression on the lower back, because a lot of tension should be loaded on the front of the body. Exhale to drop. Notice I'm also extending my head and neck back now because I've done a few reps, so I'm a little bit more confident. Really focus on expanding the chest as you drop back. Inhale and exhale, drop back. Very nice. Now we're going to reach the left hand towards the ankles, right hand towards the ankles, coming into a full camel pose. Just staying here for about 10 seconds. Try and breathe in this position. This is probably the most difficult for beginners. I remember when I started, it's very, very hard to breathe. Coming up, you need to release the left hand and then the right onto the shoulder. It's just a safer way to come out of that position. Take a breather. We're going to go for another round. Again, inhale, exhale to drop back. Right hand to the ankle first, left hand to the ankle. And keep spreading the chest, squeezing the shoulder blades together, lifting the heart, sending the hips and the thighs forward. Breathe. And bringing the left hand over to the right shoulder, right hand over to the left shoulder, coming up nice and slow. We're going to sit back into a hero pose. Now, this is a version that I like to use to stretch out the toes. Just staying there for a few breaths, and then we're going to go into a full hero pose, releasing the feet, coming down onto the mat. And just focus on our breath here for a few seconds. Breathing into our belly and chest, full breaths. Just recentering ourselves before we move on. And now we're going to come into belly on top of the mat. Working into cobras, we're going to plant our hands outside of the chest with our elbows pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Now we're going to press into our belly and our hips and then lift the heart forward, rolling the shoulders back and down. I'm not pressing into my hands. Everything's coming from the extension of my spine and then releasing it back down. Good job. Second round. As we lift how we did in the beginning, now we're going to slowly lift our upper body even higher by extending the arms, pressing our palms into the mat, but still keeping the belly and the hips connected to the mat. And release. Good job. One last time. We're going to go up, keeping the legs pretty much soft and relaxed, and extend a little bit higher, making sure you're drawing your shoulders back and down, lifting the heart forward, and release. Great job. We're going to work towards upward dog now. So what's going to happen is we're going to come up the same way as we did before, but this time we're going to lift the thighs off the mat, extending our legs, hugging our inner thighs, pressing the tops of our feet on the mat. If this is uncomfortable for you, you can actually remain on your toes or the balls of your feet in this upward dog position and slowly release. Good stuff. Now turn the feet outward. We're just going to decompress the spine here. One great way is to squeeze your butt, and that will help alleviate some of the pressure from the lower back. Alright, second round. Coming back to starting position. Elbows pointing straight up, hands beside the chest. Again, we're going to focus on the extension of spine, squeezing the shoulder blades together, lifting the heart forward before we actually push with our arms all the way up. Again, we don't want our shoulders to bunch up. Tuck the toes in, lift the hips and the thighs off the mat, squeeze in the thighs, really focus on pressing into the palms, drawing the shoulder blades back and down, and release, coming back down. Great job. And turn the feet out, decompress the spine like we did before. The next sequence is downward dog to plank to a knee assisted push-up. So first, we're going to come into a downward dog position, spread the hands about shoulder width apart, lift the knees and send the hips back and up towards the ceiling as you try to ground the heels at the same time. Try to create this triangle shape in your body. But if you can't touch the heels or your feet completely on the ground, that's fine too. Now we're going to gradually shift into a plank position, hollowing that chest, making sure it's strong, dropping the knees, sending your shoulders forward and down, coming into a push-up, pressing up again into a plank before coming back to a downward dog. That's 1 rep. We're going to do quite a few. Alright, bring the knees down, shift the shoulders forward and down, keeping the elbows really nice and close to the rib cage before coming back to a plank into a downward dog, right? So what you can do is as you inhale coming into a plank, dropping the knees, exhale to push up, inhale to come back up, and exhale to shift back into a downward dog. So follow that sequence again. Shift to a plank, nice and strong plank. Don't let the hips sag. Drop the knees. Shift the shoulders forward and down with control. And press back up. Knees off. And coming into a downward dog. Great job. You're almost there. Plank again. Dropping the knees. Slowly shift forward the shoulders and down. And back up. Plank. And downward dog. Good job. We still got a few more to go. Send your knees down and shoulders forward and down with control and back up. Plank and downward dog. And we're going to take a break after this. Send the knees down. Whew, you've earned it. Maybe roll the wrist out. So what I like to do is I like to use my thumb and my index finger to wrap around the wrist, give it some pressure, and then roll the wrist. That's a really good way to release some of the tension there. Second set, we're going to go back into our downward dog. And we're going to shift into a plank. Dropping the knees. Coming to a push-up. And pressing back up into a plank. Shifting back. Notice with the more you do, the downward dog actually gets a lot easier because you're dynamically entering and exiting that position rather than holding it just static, which has its benefits as well. Continuing this movement, coming to a push-up, press back up, knees off, and the downward dog. Each time trying to send the hips back and up. Shifting into plank, knees down, with control, and press back up. Plank and downward dog. Good job. If you need a break, you can always set your knees down and take a break and rejoin me when you're ready. Otherwise, keep going. This is the beginner strength level. And we're going to do one last one. Knees down. And press back up. Plank before coming into a downward dog. We're going to hold here for just about 10 seconds. Stay in the downward dog. And set the knees down. Come into a child's pose. And relax. Breathe. Reconnect with that breath. And slowly come back up. Well done, guys. We're going to lie down on the mats now. Finishing off with some reverse planks. If you have never done these before, well, what you need to do is bring your feet together. Legs straight, and you're going to measure about an elbow length distance away from your hips. That's where you want to plant the hands behind. And you can turn the fingers facing the back or out to the side, whichever you're more comfortable. Point the toes. What we're going to do is we're going to really squeeze the butt and send that hips up towards the ceiling, spreading the chest, pressing into the palms, really trying to plant those feet on the mat, which can be pretty difficult, and easing off. Whew. If you felt like your toes were about to cramp up, I don't blame you because that tends to happen. So stretch those toes out. Take a breather. We've got 2 more rounds to go. Getting ready here. And lift off. Really squeeze the buttock. Spread the chest. Press into the palms. And try and ground through the feet. Creating a tension in the whole body, dropping the head back slightly and releasing, coming back down. Good job. We've got one more round. I'm changing my fingers here just to give it a different feel. Fingers pointing out this time. For the last round, here we go. And lift up. Breathe. Squeeze the buttocks, hug the inner thighs, spread the chest. And slowly release. Well done. Come lying down on the mat. Release the legs. And bend the left knee, drawing the thighs into the chest. Just a very gentle stretch. And then see if you can reach the left hand to the left big toe. Grab it. And try extending that left heel up towards the ceiling. You are doing a little bit of a hamstring stretch here, just to finish off. Bend as much as you need to if you have really tight hamstrings. And then a gentle twist over to the right, making sure that left shoulder is grounded. Turn your head to look at the left thumb. This is to again release the tension in the lower back. Changing sides. Bend the right knee now. Press and pull the right knee, hug it in towards your chest. And then grabbing the big toe with the middle and index finger and closing it with the thumb. Extend that right heel up towards the ceiling. Release and go for that twist, that gentle lower back twist. Over to the left side now. Keeping that right shoulder grounded. And release. Well done, everyone. That completes our second session today. I hope you enjoyed it. And have a great day ahead. See you in the next workout.